In this video, we're taking a look at 3 books that I am hoarding and specking on hard, and the reasons why. Stay tuned.
Bry's Comics.
First up, we have the Bry Box of Mystery round number 3. Round number 1 sold out right away, overwhelmingly positive response. Round 2 sold out even faster, also overwhelmingly positive response. So let's run it back. We're going to do round number 3, and this time the grand prize is Ultimate Fallout 4 in a 9.8, the second print Pekeli, and Ultimate Fallout 4 in a 9.2 first print. So you get, the grand prize gets both of these slabs valued at well over $1,200 for the set, and every single box will be valued at $175 or more. The box costs $150 plus shipping. It's limited to 50 boxes, and they're available now at bryscomics.com. Also, we always do a monthly giveaway here on the channel. This month, we're giving away 2 slabs, one of which is a CGC graded card. And all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, comment on this video, and like this video, and head over to bryscomics.com and sign up for the newsletter to be entered to win an additional 2 slabs this month. Shout out to my buddies who donated some items for this month's giveaways. Links in the description for everything that they have going on. So we're going to talk about books that whenever they come through my shop or whenever I find them for a good deal on eBay, I pick them up and set them aside. And first up, we have Venom number 3. This is the first full appearance of Noel, the creator of the alien symbiote race. Let's stop right there. The creator of the alien symbiote race. Noel is so deeply embedded in the Marvel Comics lore at this point and Marvel canon that you don't even have to follow the MCU or the comics to know that this is going to be coming. Not to mention that there are so many Easter eggs and deleted scenes and leaked deleted scenes that are pointing towards this happening in the MCU and on the big screen. Just search YouTube for Noel in the MCU and there's dozens of videos explaining precisely how a lot of people are theorizing how this is actually going to happen. However, at this point, it is still completely unconfirmed, which is why I believe that the prices are currently lower than they will be if and when he is confirmed for the MCU. We see this played out so many times in the comic market when something is strongly rumored and then it's confirmed to nobody's real surprise, and prices double overnight. This is one of the ways to have this hobby fund itself, and it's something I talk about on this channel all the time, is take advantage of these strongly rumored specs that are highly likely to happen, even though the buy-in right now is not super low or cheap by any means. It's beneficial to buy in now because there's less risk than certain specs that are less likely to come to fruition. So let's take a look at GPA for this issue and see how it's performed over time. Here we are on gpanalysis.com, a great website for tracking and analyzing the prices of comic books. And here we have Venom number 3 from 2018. And as we can see, the last sale was $315, and this book peaked back in December of 2020 for $669, which is just a really interesting data point. I think that this number is probably a good peak number to see where this book could actually go when we get confirmation in the MCU. So I think at today's buy-in for $315, I think it could potentially be a $600 book again when he's confirmed in the MCU. So a buy-in today at $315 is great. If you look at the history of this book with the last sale and these averages for 2020, 2021, and the last 12 months, they're all right about $300, which is really interesting. It's had like an even keel for the average number. That dark blue line in the middle is the average. But we've had some way big ups and downs, highs and lows in between there. And this is just an interesting data point. I think it represents how powerful that perfect storm was back in 2020, where we had all of that hype for Donny Cates, all of that hype for Noel and that Venom run, plus all that stimulus money and the market boom in general. And we saw these peak numbers for books that are really like numbers that mimic, FOMO prices, trailer release prices, confirmation in the MCU prices. And we were just getting that just based off of this crazy perfect storm. So it's just a really interesting data point. I think that this time will go down in history as just a really interesting time in the comic book market. And if we look here at the 9.8 variant edition, this is the 1 in 25. And again, right around that same time, we saw peak high FOMO numbers of $900 for a 9.8, and the most recent sale was $471, which is a fantastic buy-in for this book. I think it's an $800 or $900 book when he's confirmed for the MCU, so a buy-in at $471 is definitely a safe buy-in for this book. But the more consistent numbers, see how it's just kind of all over the place. This book is definitely more up and down. I think it's less recognizable as the cover A. A lot of people don't even know that this is the 1 in 25 for the first appearance of Null, and we just get some outliers. Like sometimes it's more like 700, sometimes it's more like 400. And here you can see on my comic shop it sold for 540 or best offer. And this is just a great reminder to diversify where you buy comics from. My comic shop is a fantastic resource for certain things. Definitely put that on your list of places to check. There's Comic Link, there's Comic Connect, there's Heritage Auctions, there's eBay. There's all kinds of different places to find these books, and sometimes you'll get a killer deal. Next up, we have Venom number 7 and Venom number 9. This is the first cameo and the first full of Dylan Brock, respectively, the son of Eddie Brock. And so my argument here for Dylan is going to be much less persuasive than it was for Null. It's not as much of a slam dunk as Null, but basically my thought process is this. Marvel introduces next-gen superheroes or anti-heroes in the comics for a reason. At some point, the mantle is going to need to be passed, and the next-gen characters can be introduced in some other way to get spin-offs, etc. So obviously, it's a great way to capture a new audience and continue the legacy of the staple characters in the MCU. So this might be more of a long-term spec as far as the MCU is concerned, but even if it doesn't play out on screen, I think it's a safe bet because there will always be collectors that want these key issues because of their presence in the comics. And the great thing about most of these Venom keys, both Venom 3, Venom 7, Venom 9, is that usually they have fantastic covers that are collectible on that front alone, with a few exceptions that we'll talk about here in just a minute. But it's a solid enough spec that whenever I get a Venom 3, Venom 7, Venom 9 in a collection, I set them aside and put them on hold. So let's take a look at some of the different variants for Venom 7 and Venom 9 and see how they've performed over time. So here we are for Venom number 7, and as you can see, the 9.8, a huge spread. Again, that middle blue line is the average, and the light blues are the ups and downs in the spread. The most recent sale for this book was $80, and we had a low sale of $67 this year. So this is a book that you can definitely snag at auction on the cheap, and $80 is absolutely a safe buy-in. But we can see back here we had peak FOMO numbers for $200 for this book, so well less than 50% of that I think is a great buy-in for this. And we've also got the secret variant cover, which again just has the tongue sticking out on him. It's essentially a 1 in 10, the secret variant. So for every 10 copies of the cover A, you got one of these secret variant covers. However, it's more rare than a 1 in 10 because the 1 in 10 is a combined total of all of the covers ordered for that. And the secret variant only applies to cover A. So it's a little bit more rare than a 1 in 10. And it's also kind of a sleeper. Sometimes people don't even know that they have the secret variant. And here we can see the peak FOMO numbers for $360 and the most recent sale for $145. I think those numbers are, safe buy-ins, and, you can get this book consistently for between around 130 to 150. I think it's a safe buy-in for this book. And here we are for Venom number 9, and we can see that the 9.8, the most recent sale was $153. We had peak sales for $500 for this book, so I think $153 is a great buy-in. And as you can see from the sales here, there's consistently good deals to be had. 150, 140, here's an outlier, not sure what's going on there. 160, 150, 180, 130. So set a search for this book, and you can snag them cheap at auction often because they do come up for auction a lot. Some other variants for this book, we have the animation variant, which is definitely the money book for this. It's only a 1 in 10, but it's got this awesome cover, and it's had some strong sales because of it. We have the second print, which is super rare. It's definitely the rarest of all the covers, but the cover itself, it leaves something to be desired. It's not as like this epic cover like we get with the 1 in 10 or the cover A, or some of these store variants. And then we also have this variant cover by Bill Sienkiewicz, which I'm sorry, it's also just a terrible cover. There's nothing good about this cover. I don't see this one performing well. The second print, you know, it's not going to be highly desired because it's not a great cover. Even though it's more rare, it's not going to be super highly desired. And if we look at the sales for it, down here we have the second print. The most recent sale was $71. For something that there's only 1,700 copies of, like way less than the cover A. And it's just because, you know, people don't care about this book because the cover sucks. And if you look here on eBay, you know, there's one listed for $220 or best offer. But if you look at the sales, all right, set a search for an eBay auction for $71. I mean, I would buy all the copies for $71 if I could. I mean, I think that is definitely worth it, even with all that stuff considered. You know, there's money to be made at $71, but look at how low these auctions are ending for it. 71, 117, 167, 133, 178, 150, 113. I mean, consistently, every time this goes to auction, it does poorly. If you're holding a copy, definitely don't send it to auction. And set a search and pick it up if you see one go to auction. And here we have the animation variant, as you can see, peaking for over $1,000. And now the most recent sale is $497 for a 9.8. I think is definitely a good buy-in, especially for the money book for this. If you can grab it at these prices, I think this is probably the best buy for all of these Venom number 9s. All right, so here's my hoard of Venom slabs. We got Venom number 7. This is the Diamond Previews edition. This is my favorite variant for Venom number 7. Then we have Venom number 7, the secret variant. You can tell because it has the tongue coming out here, and it says secret variant up there, as compared to the cover A with no tongue. So the secret variant and cover A. And then we have Venom number 9, the animation variants. This is a 1 in 10 and a 9.4. Then we have Venom number 9, cover A, and it's getting kind of ridiculous. These keep coming in, but we have, here's how many copies of cover A. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 copies of the cover A. And then we have some store variants here. This is the Unknown Comics edition with the trade dress. We have 1, 2, 3 of those. And then for the number 3s, we have cover A, another cover A with the custom label, double signed by Donnie Cates and Ryan Stegman. And then we have the third print in a blue label. The third print signed by Donnie Cates, and the 1 in 25 variant. So there you have it, guys, the top 3 books that are having a growing presence in my spec box. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment on this video, and like this video for your chance to win 2 slabs this month, one of which is a CGC graded card. And head over to brycecomics.com and sign up for the newsletter to be entered to win another 2 slabs this month. Thank you as always for sticking with me to the end of the video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
Bryce Comics.